Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so excited that we get to read stories again. This week we're going to be reading the story The Mitten, and we're going to talk about a couple of different skills. Today we're going to be working on the skill predicting, and you should have your predicting page with you. I'm going to pause a little bit through the book and we're going to look at our page. So this is the story called The Mitten, and it is written and illustrated by Jan Brett. There's some pictures on the end page in the mittens. And as we go through, you'll notice that there's these mitten pictures on each page. Okay? Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow-white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. All right. I'm going to pause right here real quick, and we're going to take a look at our predicting page, which I have right here. So it looks like this. There's a mitten. And it says, readers make predictions as they read. After the mole went into the mitten, what do you think will happen next? So predicting is not knowing what's going to happen, but making a guess. So what I want you to do is I want you to, in just a second, pause the video. And I want you to draw a picture of what you think is going to happen now that the mole is in Nicky's mitten. And then I would like you to write a sentence about what you drew. Okay, so go ahead, take a minute, pause the video, draw what you think is going to happen. Remember, Nicky wanted snow white mittens. Baba knitted his snow white mittens, and she said, when you come back in, I'm going to first check and make sure that you are safe, and then I'm going to check and make sure that you have both of your white mittens. And one dropped, and the mole went in. So what do you think is going to happen next? All right, did you write and draw your prediction? Let's see if your prediction is right. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. How many animals are inside the mitten now? There's the mole, the rabbit, and now the hedgehog. There's 3 animals inside the mitten. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glintly talons, those are his claws, they quickly let him in. Up through the snow appeared a badger. They eyed the mittens and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. They gave him the thumb of the mitten. Who do you think we're going to see next? Have you been paying attention to the pictures? What do you think this animal is? Was he on the other page? Yeah. The mittens tell us what's happening with Nikki on this side. But on this side, it tells us what's happening next. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of water stream rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate, but just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. How many more animals do you think that this little mitten can hold? A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. They're saying that the mitten is growing bigger and is being pulled and stretched, but she made it, Grandmother, or Baba, remember, made it so well that it's not ripping. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable at the top of the great bear's nose. What do you think happens? The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ha, 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 ha-choo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. Silhouetted just means that he could see the shape. As he ran to catch the snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. But look at the size difference. Why do you think that this one looks so much bigger than this one? The animals were in this one, right? And they stretched it all out. Do you think that the mitten can go back to its size that it was in the beginning of the story? I'm not sure. Did your prediction come true? At the bottom of the page, I don't remember what there is. There's a thumbs up. There's a thumbs up or there's a present, which means it was a surprise. Did your prediction come true? Circle the thumbs up or color the thumb in? Or did the author surprise you with what happened next? Color the present in if you were surprised by what happened next. I hope you guys like this story, and we're going to look at it a couple more times and do a few more activities and lessons with it. Have a good day.